Hey, how you doing? Today's shave is a little different. We're in the Lather games. We are maybe day 7, and it's the summer. Summer is the day 8, I think, actually. Uh, Summer is the theme. Something cool or something citrus, something aquatic. That's the theme for today. And it's funny, I don't have a whole lot that's aquatic and stuff, but I did have a Wickham sample, citrus musk, and so we're going to go the citrus route for the soap. I really like Wickham, and I'm really interested to try this soap out. It's a soap that may cost you $18 or $19 for a tub of it, but I discovered you don't have to use as much per shave, and so compared to some of the other top-end soaps, it might be a really good deal. And since you get kind of twice as many shaves out of the tub as another soap that may cost $18 or $20. So another first is this Shavette. This is the Parker SR1, and it's already got a blade loaded in there. And if you want to see how to load it and unload it, go to the end of the video. I'll show you there. It's got a Derby Professional in it, and I've never had a Shavette shave before. I've shaved with a real straight razor about 5 or 6 times, so I've got a little bit of experience with that, just a little bit. Today's brush is also new to me. It is a Maseto, and I got it off eBay from the company who sells them, so it's brand new, and we'll have it soaking in my hard water, and it is cool water. I did do one kind of test lather with it. It felt pretty good. It didn't feel super soft. This is the Silvertip version, the 3-band, and that handle that's looked kind of ergonomic and stuff, I think they call that the Memphis handle. So it's the Memphis Maseto, and it's 24 millimeters. Looks like the bloom's going to be pretty. Plenty big enough for my needs. All right, so I'm going to get my face wet and get my post shave. Now that one I'm going to go aquatic with Barrister and Mann Latha series, a discontinued series. Oceana, their aquatic note there. Now when you have small sample tubs like this, you can't do your brush in there if you're new to these kind of things. And so you can take your thumb and hoke some out that way. It's a pretty firm soap. I prefer this 1/4 teaspoon measure, and I've already hooked out some. Now, in the past, I've done an actual full 1/4 teaspoon and ended up with like 3 extra passes. Okay, so I press down into that 1/4 teaspoon so that I don't have the full 1/4 teaspoon. So now we can hook that out. And I'm going to press it into the bottom of my lather bowl. Roger Quintero design. And you can go to the description of this video and see a link to download the files if you want to computer 3D print it yourself, if you have access to a printer. Alright, I'll make sure I get it all. Just pressing it down into the bottom. With more firm soaps like this, you don't want to let it crumble. You want to make sure it sticks evenly to the bottom, because these kind of crumbles can come loose and never really integrate as well with your lather. Alright. Since I'm backing off of the soap quantity just to see how much I really need, I want to make sure I get pretty much all of it out of there, and I think I have now. That's all there is to it. A little bit less than a 1/4 teaspoon, and there we go. So we will now take the Badger brush. Holds a lot of water, so let's shake a good bit of it out. This is the 3-band. Maybe tomorrow I'll shave with the 2-band that I bought at the same time. I like this Memphis handle. I wish it were a little bit thicker here at the waist, what I'm calling the waist, because I've got big fingers and it kind of, I wish it had more room to grip and stuff. But I like the material, nice resin. It's been sanded and polished really well. I don't see any seams or anything like that at all. So pretty much a lot of the water's out, and we'll start. Now, just because some badgers start out a little prickly, and after 10 uses or so can lose that prickle entirely and be very soft. And so some of them don't start off as soft as they're going to be right off the bat. This is the first time I've ever tried a Maseto brush. They're not very expensive, and so I am very interested to see. I love the badger brush market that is in this price range. I mean, there's so many good knots out there. Virginia Ching, my favorites are Whip Dog and the Golden Nib, but Virginia Ching makes really good stuff too. Frank Shaving as well. There are just so many good entries. I haven't tried an Ace Shaving knot yet. See, look at this, just the amount of water that was left in the brush, I've already got this much lather. I'm using my tap water, which is hard and cool. All right, we've put 1 teaspoon in. So these 3-band knots here, like this one, they are usually softer, less backbone than the 2-bands. And some people find them to be, while enjoyably soft, but maybe they don't have as much backbone as they want. And so that kind of person would want to look at the 2-bands. Comes from a different place in the badger, and it's got, sometimes it's got nice soft tips, but it's got a little bit more backbone in the longer part of the bristle. So if a 3-band is a little too soft for you, oh man, I'm going to end up with so much lather, it's crazy. I could have even less than what I did. I could have pulled out even more from that 1/4 teaspoon, as it turns out. So let's talk about the Shavette. My first time using a Shavette. I've read about it, I've watched videos, I've used a straight a few times. One thing to know about a Shavette is some people think it's a good training ground for a straight razor. It's good and it's not, is the wisdom that I have read, because there are some weaknesses and some things that a lot of people don't like about the Shavettes. And those weaknesses, if you assume that the straight is going to have the same ones, then you would be under a false assumption, because some of them just don't apply to straights. The strength of the Shavettes is that you can replace the blade. There's no honing or stropping or anything like that. So in that sense, it's nice. However, sometimes the blade feel is just not going to be anything like. It's not going to be similar very much to a real straight razor. And so sometimes a real straight is easier to shave with than a Shavette. Also, I will say that I am going to call it a Shavette because it's just convenient. But my understanding is that the Shavette name is actually only supposed to go with, I think, Dovo. They're the ones who created the razor and called it a Shavette. But it's kind of one of those names that everybody has picked up, and companies may not call it a Shavette. Parker doesn't call it a Shavette. And this is the kind that uses a half of a blade. You could use your standard DE blade, which is kind of cool, because if you've got such a big variety to choose from. You just break them in half or cut them in half with scissors, and they and they'll work. All you need is one of those halves, and like a DE, you may be able to take it to 30 shaves or something like that. Now I have got tons of lather here. Look at that. I definitely could have used less soap in the spoon. Let's take a feel here. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and try this? It may need more water. Let's put a little bit more water in. Now, so here I am mixing, and this resin handle is quite slippery. And so you do have to hold it more firmly. If it were thicker and had a thicker knob here, then it wouldn't take nearly as much effort. But you know, you can probably learn to use different grips. Like this one's a little easier if I switch to this type of grip instead of this. So this is the citrus musk, and I am getting tons of scent coming up from this bowl and smacking me in the face. I could see how there are some people who would consider this a little bit on the offensive side in terms of the strength. If they didn't like a citrus scent, they could be bothered by it because it is kind of pungent. It is that piercing high kind of citrus. But yeah, I believe I can smell that musk in there that is adding a little bit of sophistication, keeping it from being just the citrus scent. All right, well, let's take a look at our lather now, as I usually do, by kind of stretch. Oh, look at that. That is good. That's probably a good sign. Another thing we can do is get it all up in the brush and then wiggle. Watch it drop. Yeah. So now, does this mean it's too dry, too wet? We don't know yet. Once you learn, then you can use that as a landmark to keep adding a little bit of water from this point, or you know, whatever you want to do. All right, one more splash of water on my face. And let's lather up, and we'll see how this Maseto does. Maseto, I'm just kind of guessing here. Well, it splays nicely, and I'm really happy about that. I am looking for 1 or 2 cents to buy the full tub of for this Wickham, because it's a really good, I like the performance of it. It's really nice. And a little goes a long way, as I kind of have previously mentioned. It's not super soft right now, but it's comfortable and enjoyable. Got a feeling it's going to improve. And that is a refreshingly strong scent. Maybe even in the 7 out of 10. And I so rarely give that strength level, because people just don't want to offend. The makers don't want to offend skin sensitivities and things like that. But wow, don't know that I like the scent. I'll have to see if it grows on me. All right. Now, one of the things you can do with both straight razor shaving or Shavette is to do the easy part with the new tool, which is usually the cheeks, and then use a normal DE to do the neck. A great recommendation, and I did do that the first few times. I had great success. And so most of the time I do shave my neck. So I'm going to try that with the Shavette. All right, so here's the Parker SR1. So, and I am adopting the pattern of switching hands so that I can shave both sides kind of with the symmetry instead of reaching across, that sort of thing. All right, so as with a normal razor, I'm going to try to keep it's really hard because my hand is in the way of me seeing. Yeah, this is nice. I'm feeling the cutting, but I'm not feeling anything bad at all. This is nice, and it's moving pretty quickly. Now who knows, I may get to the end of this shave and I'm not actually cutting very much, but no big deal. All right, same thing over here. Yeah, that's very nice. I could see why people might value a good Shavette. This is a nice, you definitely get the old school feel of using a tool that is distinctly manly. This lather may be a little too thick for this kind of use. Okay, now I gotta think, okay, I'm gonna go from the bottom now. Because this is the one nice thing about using a double edge before you try the straight is you get used to doing good lathers, but also you learn your hair direction. And you'll definitely need to know that with this type of razor. Be very careful because right around here is where I get cuts, even with a double edge. Just gonna take my time a little bit at once. That way, if I end up having a bad angle, it's just a short stroke that has the bad angle. Don't take my word for it on that. Watch other people's videos. That's just kind of what my approach is at the moment. I'm not an authority on this shaving by any means. This is the kind of razor that a lot of barbers have had to switch to due to hygienic concerns, not being able to use the normal straight razor. And there we go. Definitely more hair left on my face after this shave, after this pass, than when I have a DE, but it's all right. Learning, that's all right. Play it safe. All right, so I'm going to rinse, and oh yay, we got a little bitty weeper right there. Any more? Super tiny one right there. Not bad. I don't really feel them. All right, I'm going to rinse. All right, in the clip away there, I had another ½ teaspoon, and so I think I put 4 teaspoons into my lather because I just wanted to get slicker, because this type of blade and this type of shaving really needs that. Do not want to have a dry lather. It needs to be wet and slippery and that sort of thing. Matter of fact, I might add even some more besides this cool water. Feels great on my cuts and raw skin. I'm going to continue to take it easy, really watch the angles, keep it close to the skin is my best guess. I can't remember if you're supposed to have it farther away than a real straight. Like here's the skin. I can't remember if you're supposed to try to stay close like that, or if you're supposed to try to open it up a little bit. So I'm just going to take my time and just see what we can do here. I want to go with the grain again. I'm not quite ready to go cross grain too much. It felt on my face, it felt really kind of pretty good at the time. And then, man, when I rinsed with water after that first pass, I felt a good many stings. Now, also, one thing I didn't do was dull the corners of the blade. You Shavette users out there, I've heard that some people do that. Is that always recommended? I'm not sure. I might have to do some research. If you are a good Shavette experienced user, I'd love your wisdom on that. So the balm is going to be doing some extra heavy duty work tonight. Just taking my time, small strokes. Especially over here where sometimes things really get dicey even with a DE. And I'm saying DE if you're new to this thing. DE is double edge razor, like a safety razor. Sometimes it has the twist to open where you butterfly doors open, you put the blade in. Sometimes you have to separate 3 or 4 pieces, 2 or 3 pieces, and put the blade in that way. But that's what I mean by DE, double edge. Well, yeah, there we go. So again, not a lot of residual slickness with this particular batch of soap. And I've got some good hairs right there that still need a good cut. But that's the second pass, and we're learning. So if I end up with a crappy shave, I'm fine with that. All right, I'm going to pause you and rinse. All right, let's load up for the third pass. I'm liking the Maseto brush. Yeah, I wish the handle would be a little thicker, but who knows? It may be a thing where my my fingers will kind of adjust to the grip and be fine with it. I've definitely had that happen on a few razors, on a few brushes. I'm going to add even more water to this. Just want to get it nice and slick. Well, now look at that. It's so slick it's dropping off. And actually, it may be that if your lather is so slick it's flying off, then that might be about right for a straight razor shave or a Shavette type shave. That really might mean that you've got it dialed in. You don't want it thick and dry. Is the wisdom I've heard, and I believe my experience also confirms that. All right. Still plenty of lather in there. All right. One nice thing about the Shavette is you don't have to worry about it as much in terms of putting it on the sink if you drop it or anything like that, because the sharpness is just something you throw away and replace. Where a real straight, you got to be careful with that edge. If you get a divot in it or a chink or anything like that, then you're, you got to get a hone guy to take that out and work on it for you. So it's nice. You don't quite have to worry about this quite so much. All right, I think maybe my cheeks are probably pretty good. So I might just kind of, yeah, they're fine. Oh yeah, let me switch hands. And this is my grip, 2 on the front. Very good. I think some people can do 3 on the front, I don't think I'm to that. I think this is better for me. All right, so now let's hit up that little trouble area. It's not getting a good shave yet. And that feels pretty good. It doesn't feel like, yeah, but see, I can still see hairs, so I must not have quite the right angle. Maybe I'm being a little too conservative with my angle, so let's put a little bit more lather on there and open up the angle, the blade angle, a little bit more. Yeah, definitely better. And who knows, maybe when you are shaving different areas, you can use different angles. Now, a friend of mine online has a lot of experience with the Shavettes, and this particular one was not really in his recommended list. But this one came up on sale at a great deal, and I couldn't pass it up. My face, you can see these red marks there. My face might have wanted me to pass it up. But there we go. How about that? I think that's a good enough stop for the first Shavette shave. I'm going to rinse off, and this is going to sting. I've gotten so competent with my DE razors that I pretty much never address blood, because it's so rare, and it's usually very small amounts, and so I don't even put anything on them, so I'm going to whip out my Gentleman John alum block for this shave, because let's do some healing. I don't really need it for a diagnostic tool. That's what some people use it for, to show them where their style may need improvement. I pretty much know my whole face. So what we do is we have a wet face. We wet the alum block a little bit and just kind of rub it all over. And yes, it stings when you rub it on something that has been roughed up. It's yeah, see, I think it's actually generating some redness. It is, definitely is. So, maybe this is not for me. Maybe it's good that I've never really had to use it too much. Another important thing with your alum, don't leave it wet. Think of table salt, because alum is a salt. It's not table salt, but it is a salt. And you don't leave wet salt. This is like a salt block. We need to dry it off so that it can be stored. This is an old towel. All right. So keep that stored dry. Definitely don't leave it in the shower or anything like that. The irritation, the stinging has not quite left yet. All right, so now it's a great time for the post-shave splash. Oceana post-shave splash. Shake it up. It's probably got some ingredients. Let's see how many helpful ingredients it's got for my skin here. Holy crap, that's a long list. It does have aloe, lavender, bilberry fruit extract, sugar cane, sugar maple. Well, just tons of stuff. All right. So, let's get some healing on my skin. Don't guess this has too much alcohol or I would have felt it. And the stinging is gone, so that's cool. All right. So I used 4 teaspoons of water for that, slightly less than a 1/4 teaspoon of soap. I enjoyed the brush. It wasn't crazy soft, but I enjoyed the handle, but it's just still a little too thin. Had maybe 2 or 3 passes left of soap. The citrus musk, a little too strong for me, a little too pungent. If I combined it with something, then that might kind of help tone it down a little bit. Then it might be enjoyable. But if you like citrus and you like it to be a zesty, kind of pointed citrus, not something sweet at all, with a little bit of musk in there, then this might be the one for you. And I like the performance of this soap. You can keep it back and have it be kind of thick, or it'll take a lot of water and be creamy and slick. So you can go either way with it. I'm just going to clean up some stuff here. So I just stropped it on the towel, and you can see the bloom. Nice big brush. You can also hold it this way. Tuck the base into your pad of your hand and then reach up and grab it just above this ridge. But that's where a lot of the soap gathers, and I like to try to keep my fingers out of the soap in general. But this may be a bit especially working on your face. But actually, I don't have a problem with this thinner handle with the face. It's the lather building. It just gets slippery and all that. So we'll just keep working at it. We'll keep an eye on the knot. See how much it softens up with use. And this will be a fun one to watch grow a little bit and see. And it doesn't cost too much. So it might be a really good budget badger 3-band or Silvertip. So it's nice and soft. It splayed easily. And it spread, it left a nice layer. The bristles would stay together in a paintbrush formation. And that's why I kind of like the bulb knots, because they tend to do that. The fan knots will have a distinct ridge around it, and sometimes they'll drag the lather around instead of laying a layer down. But yeah, good first run with this guy. A little bit of irritation I feel on my face right now. I tell you what, I looked at, look, not really too many bleeders here. So the alum probably did a good job of shutting the little guys down, despite the irritation it kind of caused my face. But I don't feel too much irritation. I definitely didn't get as close of a shave as I usually get with a DE, but it was my first time. So we'll take it. Keep playing around with it and see how much I like it, that sort of thing. We talked about how much soap was left. We talked about how much water was left. Yeah, and I told you about the shave the Shavette. Told you about the soap and how much I liked it. Used the alum. All right, well, there we go. I'm going to clean up. If I think of anything, I'll be back. So the Oceana post-shave splash, not delivering a lot of scent, not a lot of strong scent. It is a discontinued product, so you're probably not looking at this video with the consumer mindset. You're probably looking at it in as far as this goes, in terms of just a research mindset or something like that. So if you're looking for scent on this one, that's probably not going to deliver too much. I think where its strength is just the quality ingredients that are good for your skin, and are not just like so many others, alcohol and fragrance. So very nice. So like I promised, let us look at the anatomy of this particular Shavette, and I've seen a lot of them that do mimic this similar pattern. So we have this clamping part here, this ridge, and it goes on both sides. It goes over the back on both sides, and you can see the hinge point right here. And so all you do is open that up to where this other side here is uncovered, and then this side and this side will split and open up. And so you could probably find somewhere to put in your fingernail and kind of open it up like that. And I have to watch out for a falling razor blade, so I'm going to turn it over. Where did it go? There it is. It's sticking with the whole side. Weirdo. Carefully, we are dealing with a blade here. And here is the half blade. Derby Professional. And it's just, now these have been cut from the factory. They come in tiny little envelopes, all in one big box. But you can just cut your own. If you want to try a Shavette, you don't have to buy the half blades. So here's the anatomy here. You've got the two sides, a slight bevel, but it's not sharp right here. One of the sides will have the posts. The other one has the holes that it goes into. And so when you put the blade in, you carefully lay it on the pins and push. Let's put it back on. And those pins will fit into certain holes, and it'll be centered. See, like that. They'll go into the symmetrical holes. And then once it's in there, you can gently bring the other part over on top of it and lay it down. So now the pins are going in the holes. And then, of course, always watching your sharp edge. Hold it by something else and close that clamping mechanism, and it holds it in place. I didn't feel it move at all during the shave, and so that part functioning really well. But yeah, just open it up, split it open like that. So you'll see a lot of these like on eBay and stuff, and you'll see it displayed like this, and that's why, just to show you how the mechanism works. All right, very nice. So I'm going to dry this before I seal everything and clamp it back up. And now with this razor, I want to say that this is all metal, but this is plastic. The scales here are plastic, so it's not super top quality, but it's also not expensive. All right, well, we're all cleaned up. Face is gradually feeling better and better. To now, I just feel a little bit of irritation, tiny bit, almost like the drying effect of soap, something like that. Mainly, down here. Still haven't put on any other products or anything to stop any weepers or anything. See, yep, that one's already sealed up. So, in terms of comfort, it's there was a couple of rinses where I really felt the stinging, and of course with the alum block I felt lots of stinging there, but other than that, very reasonable, very tolerable, and so I think from this point on, if I wanted to continue working with the Shavette, or this kind of thing, it would just get better, get easier, more consistent. And who knows, some of those may have been because I didn't dull the corners, you know, the edges of the blade. I would imagine, since these are specifically made for you know, Shavettes, that the factory may have done something like that, but maybe they didn't. So there we go. Hope you learned something. I know I sure did. First time with a Shavette. And that's it. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care. Good night.